Ahmed is a former Pakistani diplomat joining us now from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Let's start with this belief from Imran Khan, which he's been very vocal about indeed. This belief that the United States is behind his removal from power. What's the basis for his argument for that?
He's been saying this loudly and publicly and has struck a chord in Pakistanis who really feel that sometimes America can be very almost colonial in its attitude to the smaller countries or less economically powerful countries. And Imran Khan's belief that he was ousted because of correspondence that one of the State Department officials had with the Pakistan ambassador, which was recorded by the ambassador, sent to Islamabad. And that letter, that note, in fact, was waved about by Imran Khan as proof that there was something in that conversation which suggested very clearly that America would like the removal of Imran Khan. And that would then mean that Pakistan would have aid and would have normal relations with the US.
Has there been any reaction on that from the White House?
Yes, they've said that that is not correct at all, and they've dismissed it. But remember that this is a very emotive, a very strong argument. It has high resonance in the Pakistanis. And the result is you're seeing literally millions of people responding to Imran's call. So he's traveling the country. He's had these enormous gatherings, huge gatherings, extraordinary, I think probably the maximum number I've seen in the last several decades, and in each major city. And what is remarkable is you have men, women, children, all responding very emotionally to Imran's call and his argument that Pakistanis will not be humiliated or not bow their heads. So you have that. And in contrast, he accuses and blames the present government of kowtowing, bowing to the West, to the United States, and calls them foreign imported government, calls them thieves. So you have this narrative which is being picked up. Now, how much is truth? What actually happened? Diplomats and diplomatic circles will be arguing that with historians for a long time to come. The reality is that Imran has got that particular narrative into the political dialogue of Pakistan, and it is stirring the pot in Pakistan right now. Pakistan is in political turmoil, and it may lead to a greater crisis because the problems of the economy, of law and order, of relations with neighbors like India and Afghanistan all remain unresolved. So there are major crises still to come, however we resolve this issue between Imran and the government.
You mentioned the political turmoil, but there's also financial turmoil, of course, as well, some economic problems. And I understand that Pakistan is having difficulty in its talks with the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. What more can you tell us about that?
Yes, again, the IMF and relations between the Pakistan government and the IMF, again, the argument is that because the US is putting pressure on Pakistan, they're not going to allow the IMF to clear the paperwork for Pakistan loans and Pakistan's debt to the IMF. So again, you see how it's tying up with this bigger narrative of the US and the US putting pressure on Pakistan. Now, I do want to point out that along with this particular situation where you have two major political blocs, that is Imran Khan leading his party and the Sharif brothers with Zardari leading the opposition, which is now in government, you have the Pakistan army watching the situation and wanting to be neutral, but at the same time watching the situation so it doesn't deteriorate into serious law and order problems. And you have the Supreme Court, which has come in several times to give us a decision which has helped ease the tension within Pakistan. So you're seeing that there's a lot happening right now in Pakistan, and I think the next few weeks will continue to see Pakistan's political problems bubbling to the surface.
Yeah, we'll watch it closely, as I'm sure you will as well. Akhbar Ahmed, thank you very much indeed. Former Pakistani diplomat there joining us from Washington, D.C.